It was Netzach's third abnormality to deal with. And this one would require some creative thinking. As well as other things. As for what Netzach has to deal with, poor Cubis, or however you pronounce that. Apparently, they queued up for this one. Just to get high. Can you believe that? The trick is not to get hit too many times. At least not without using the pleasure up. Because too much pleasure can turn into pain. I knew enough about that to last a lifetime. Yeah, loosening up is one thing. Being overwhelmed, that's something else entirely. And Netzach, at this point, considered it a good idea to have echoes from the beyond. Especially as staggering would mean well, death. If hit too much. Well, closer to death anyway. Yeah, staggering. Not so easy with this one. In fact, it's easier to do. Just hit it a lot until it goes down. Yeah, not even burning it would do much. And this is a plant that understands what's happening. Although I couldn't be surprised, because the wings, they do all kinds of questionable things. And that's at the best of times. At other times, it's outright disgusting. And I've been around. So if I call it disgusting, you gotta believe me on that one. Yeah, that was the key in this fight. Use up the pleasure. Make sure it doesn't build up. And keep knocking down the junkie's dream. Well, I can't think of anything better to call it. Until it's down. And down it would go. Although thankfully the token of friendship would provide some healing. And believe me, Netzach and his assistants could use it. And he used both of the pleasures. Around the same time as, well, can't have it building up, can we? Yeah, the porcupus was finished after that. And its power was added to Netzach.
오늘은 술 냄새가 안 나는데?
안 마셨거든요. 오늘만은 맨정신으로 있고 싶어요.
무슨 바람이 들었길래?
술을 얻어먹지 못해서 아쉬운 표정인데요.
이런, 얼굴에 좀 티가 났나?
특별한 날이거든요. 오늘은 제가 세상에서 죽은 날이에요.
그래? 지금이 며칠이지? 여기 있다 보니 시간 감각이 사라져서 말이야.
며칠인지는 중요하지 않아요. 바로 지금 이 순간이 그날이거든요. 첫 번째 삶에서 지오반니가 죽는 모든 과정을 알았어요.
그런 의미였구만.
롤랑은 톱니교단 사람들이 멍청하다고 생각하나요?
삶의 의미를 어떻게든 찾으려고 사이비 교단에 들어가는 모습? 멍청하다고 생각하진 않아. 불쌍할 뿐이지.
저도 그렇게 생각해요. 전 부모님 없이 자랐어요.
나도 그래. 할머니 손에서 거칠게 자랐거든.
전 둥지에서 태어나 부모님이 누군지도 모른 채 보육원에 맡겨졌죠. 아마 뒷골목 어딘가였다면 진작에 죽었을 거예요. 운 좋게 둥지에서 태어나 운 나쁘게 부모 없이 자란 거죠.
어디 둥지였으려나?
K사 둥지였어요.
무난하다고 들은 둥지 중 하나군.
네, 실제로 평탄했어요. 남들보다 조금 불행하고 남들보다 조금 운이 좋았죠. 굶으며 자란 것도 아니고 괴롭힘을 받고 자란 것도 아니에요. 어떤 자극도 없는 진공 상태에서 살아온 거예요. 아무 의미 없이 숨만 쉬어온 거죠. 그게 너무 당연한 줄 알았거든요. 전부 저와 같은 얼굴을 하고 있었으니까요. 학교에서나 거리에서나 둥지 안에서 사람들의 표정은 모두 같았어요.
뭐 초점을 잃은 눈들이겠지.
맞아요. 정말 그랬어요. 이렇게 살아가다 저렇게 떠나가는구나 싶었죠. 그렇게 숨만 쉬며 살던 중 제가 난생 처음 보는 얼굴의 사람을 만난 거예요.
오, 그게 너의 첫사랑이었으려나?
그런가 봐요. 정확히는 지오반니의 첫사랑이지만요. 거리 한복판에서 관심 없이 지나치는 사람들에게 열심히 뭐라 말하고 있었죠. 그 사람이 말하는 내용은 사실 귀에 하나도 안 들어왔어요. 다만 사람이 저 정도로 빛나며 살아있을 수 있구나 라는 생각만 들었죠.
첫눈에 반했구만. 응? 반했어.
그 사람은 자신이 이 세상과 사람을 바꾸겠다고 열심히 말했어요. 그리고 도와줄 사람들을 찾고 있었죠. 웃기지 않아요? 누가 둥지 안에서 자신의 삶을 버리고 그런 연구에 참여하겠어요?
넌 참여했고.
맞아요. 지오반니 같은 사람이 한두 명은 얻어 걸린다는 것을 알긴 했나 봐요. 그 사람은. 그녀의 이름은 카르멘이었어요.
카르멘.
카르멘이 삶에 보람이 가득 찬 모습을 볼 때면 저도 살아있는 기분을 느꼈죠. 계속 이 사람 곁에 있고 싶다고 생각했어요. 하지만 그녀에게 저는 좋은 동생이나 친구 혹은 동료였을 뿐 그 이상의 감정은 없었을 거예요.
짝사랑이었나? 애달프지?
저는 그래도 상관없었어요. 이대로 살아갈 수만 있다면 좋겠다고 생각했거든요. 하지만
그래, 그 연구팀의 비극이 찾아왔다고 했지.
맞아요. 천천히. 연구에 진전은 없고 카르멘은 점차 생기를 잃어갔어요. 그리고 연구실의 에녹이라는 아이가 실험 도중 세상을 떠나자 그녀 안에서 무언가 끊어진 듯 했어요. 전 뭐라도 힘을 주고 싶었지만 생기를 잃은 카르멘의 표정을 보면 제가 세상에서 지워진 것만 같아 너무 무서웠어요. 그리고 카르멘은 스스로 세상을 떠났죠.
비극이군. 충격이 컸겠어.
받아들이지 못한 건 아니었어요. 오히려 덤덤했죠. 누구보다 살아있던 사람이 누구보다 빠르고 비참하게 떠날 수 있구나 라는 생각을 했어요. 전 연구실을 떠나지 않고 카르멘이 바라던 연구를 계속 도왔어요. 희망을 놓지 않는 동료들이 남아있었거든요. 그리고 어느 날 카르멘을 살릴 수 있을지도 모른다는 이야기가 나왔어요.
그냥 지나칠 수 없는 이야기였겠군.
그렇죠. 그리고
대가가 따랐겠지.
영영 깨어나지 못할지도 모르는 실험이었어요. 누구도 선뜻 나서지 못했지만 전 덤덤하게 참가한다고 했어요. 실험이 성공해서 카르멘이 살아난다면 제일 좋고, 반대로 제가 영원히 잠든다 해도 그것대로 좋았어요. 카르멘이 사라진 삶에서 저는 다시 빛을 잃었거든요. 전 그래서 톱니교단처럼 극단적인 방식으로라도 삶의 의미를 찾으려는 사람들을 이해할 수 있어요. 저도 마찬가지로 죽을지도 모르는 실험에 참여했으니까요. 그리고
실패했군.
전 두 번째 삶에서 네자흐로 깨어나 로보토미사에서 일을 했죠. 삶에 대한 집착 따위는 눈을 감기 전 진작에 버렸는데, 그리운 목소리가 들렸어요. 어떻게든 살아가라고 하더라고요. 그래도 여러 일을 겪고 여기까지 왔어요. 삶을 이어갈 것이라는 용기를 가진 채.
기특하구만, 네자.
그리고 이제 그저 숨만 쉬는 삶보다는 정말로 살아보고 싶어요. 그럴 기회가 생긴다면요. 어쩌면 이번에는 가능할지도 모르겠다는 생각이 드네요. 세상은 생각보다 넓고 추악함도 많지만 아름다움도 분명 있는 것 같거든요.
술을 줄창 마시던 것도 어떻게든 하루를 버텨보려고 했던 거네.
맞아요. 그래도 술의 맛을 좋아하긴 해요.
나도 그래.
이제 한잔 할까요?
좋지. 오늘을 기념해보자고.
The nests. They're not as good as some make it out to be, at least in some ways. Well, if Netzach is anything to go by.
자연과학 층인가? 5번째 층이 열렸구만. 지정사선은 티페리트. 이름들이 죄다 왜 이래? 이보시오, 티페리트. 여기 있습니까?
시끄러워! 바로 앞에 있는데 어딜 보고 소리치는 거야?
뭐야? 완전 꼬맹인데?
이래봬도 예전보다 꽤 자랐거든?
아, 로보토미 시절보다?
아니, 처음 죽을 때 말이야. 그때는 정말 꼬맹이였는데 여기서는 나이를 좀 먹은 몸으로 깼나 봐. 도서관의 힘인지 엔젤라의 배려인지는 몰라도 사서 일을 하기에는 적합하겠지. 게다가 살아온 시간으로 치면 이 모습보다 몇 년은 더 먹어야겠지만
그건 그렇고 초면에 주먹질은 너무한데. 예전에 안 좋은 기억이 떠오르는구만.
네가 어리버리하니까 그렇지. 이름은?
롤랑. 밑바닥 해결사 일을 하다가 엔젤라를 도와주고 있어.
보아하니 상층 애들은 다 만났겠네.
상층? 상층부는 이곳 아닌가?
이번에는 하층이겠구나. 무슨 뜻인지 알잖아. 대충 알아먹어.
아이고 까칠해라.
난 티페리트야. 자연과학층을 담당하고 있지.
과학이면 머리 좀 굴려야 할 텐데. 요 버르장머리하고는 두 번 당하진 않지. 거침없기는 해도 내가 알던 사람보다는 느리다고.
무시하지 말아줄래? 나도 일이 일이라 과학에 대해서 예전에 주워들은 건 꽤 있거든. 아마 살아온 날수로 치면 너보다 나이도 많을 거야.
나이가 많으면 뭐합니까? 말과 행동이 성숙해야지. 응?
엔젤라 상태는 어때?
늘 궁금증이 많지. 어떨 땐 정말 아이 같다니까.
그럴 수 있지. 엔젤라가 살아온 건 땅밑뿐이니까.
맞아. 밖을 보지 못하고 살아왔다 했어. 넌 다른 사서처럼 엔젤라에게 딱히 악감정이 있거나 하진 않나 보네.
대충 사정은 아니까 누구보다 잔인하다고 생각했지만 내가 잠들어 있을 때 몇몇 과거 일들을 봤어. 그리고 네가 날 깨우기 전까지의 일들도. 그래서 엔젤라를 이해 못하는 건 아냐. 앞으로 깨어날 사서들도 대략 상황은 이해하고 있을 거야. 상층, 아니 하층 애들은 여전히 갈팡질팡하는 것 같지만
그래서 엔젤라의 선택에 대해 찬성한다?
마지막에 어떤 선택을 하냐에 따라 찬성할지 말지 갈리겠지. 적어도 당분간은 도와주려고 해. 이러니 저러니 해도 다들 목적은 같거든.
도서관을 완성하는 것?
그래. 빛은 7일간 비춰야 의미가 있으니까.
야, 이렇게 우호적인 사서를 만나서 좋네. 자, 그럼 다음에 올 때는 동화책이라도 덤으로 들고 올게.
That kid may have a short fuse, but one thing I couldn't accuse her of being is dead weight. Now, Tiphereth, she needed a test. Something to, well, demonstrate her combat ability. And some grade 8 fixers. They're as good as any to test her out. Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about what she said about that. Her having an older body. From what she told me, it implied that she was a kid before, well, she died. And either this library or Angela gave her an older body. One that hit puberty. Well, it sure hit harder than it otherwise would have. Hard enough for me to feel it. Well, she's certainly more reasonable than the ones in the lower floors. Although her more exact reasons, her motives, aren't all that clear yet. But I knew they would be eventually. Oh, as for how Tiphereth and their librarians are doing, quite well, considering this was their first battle. Then again, this is probably quite weak compared to what they'd usually be equipped with by this point. Still, it'll be a lot of useful things for transferring the passive abilities with. I think that's what they call. Tiphereth needed something stronger. It only needed two. Two of the full staff officer's books to lure a workshop affiliate fixer. Well, someone needed to test the weapons. And they certainly had some useful pages. Well, what would be pages once they're turned into books. It would certainly be a challenge for him. would be useful for at least one of the librarians of the floor of natural sciences. Yeah, all of them were attacking the same librarian. I frowned upon that. Well, since it was gonna happen anyway, might as well hit as hard as possible, since they'd expend their defenses trying to kill their target and not worry about anyone else. Yeah, let's see how they fare against Stigma Workshop Tech. Surprisingly well. It would seem that pierce damage, as in the kind of damage that you get with pointy things, well, that hits harder with that. Still, I couldn't just let him. Well, she couldn't let them hit her. Largely because it'd make her look bad. And she didn't want to look bad in front of me. Although it was a bit late for that. And one of them needed to be finished off. And finished off they were. Your attention needed to be diverted. At least enough to cause some real damage to them. And they were at the mercy of Tiphereth. I'll be honest with you. I was thankful that she didn't aim lower down. Yeah, she has some decency. Although considering what the others went through, I can kind of understand some of it. As for the rest, well, I didn't have enough to go on. At least by this point. It was tight, but Tiphereth pulled through with this fight. Okay, this was the last battle that general invitation would attract. And I needed to equip myself. The rusted chains. Yeah, the syndicate. Looked like it was focused on bleeding. Along with bleeding themselves. Their leader looked like it's rather... well, their leader had something useful. And I'd be damned if I was gonna let that go to waste. Not exactly as planned, but could have been worse. Well, considering that they were going on the defensive, I thought it'd be a good idea to focus on one's attacking. The reason for that? It'd at least be productive. And then I noticed some less than ideal moves. Yeah, the scars were still there. But that didn't mean that we'd give up. Yeah. I had two moves that I could use. I can't use both. Well, couldn't use both. If you want to get it right. Yeah. We mostly focused on their leader. Yeah, pale hands would certainly help. A little. Yeah. Thinking about what to do, not as easy as you think it'd be. I mean, is it for any of us? Yeah. I don't think any of us could feel bad about taking down syndicates. The kind that dealt pain and suffering to a lot of people that didn't deserve it. No one would miss them. I certainly wouldn't. I've said too much. Yeah, Tana's offensive didn't really work out that much. Well, that well, rather. Yeah. Apparently they had some ties with the Kurakumo clan. Yeah. Saw some of those dealing with the carnival. Although they did have some restraints. None better than to deal with the Index in such an aggressive way. Well, I'm not sure if we'd be able to handle this, but one thing was clear. Some aspiration would do us some good. That and I knew that Tiphereth and her team wouldn't stand much of a chance against these rusted chains, at least in their current setup. Yeah, they needed something better than a page from an affiliated fixer office. One affiliated with a workshop. which, as I said, was likely something to test out weapons with. Well, you can blame him. Who wouldn't want to test out the latest weapons before anyone else did? Well, if they don't do something like blow up or do something else to kill the user of it. Yeah. Naoki had a point there. Buyer beware. Yeah, that wasn't the end. I knew that my team wouldn't last long against this guy. So I decided to send Hode and her team. Well, her and two of her team anyway. Well, thankfully her latest Librarian didn't need to be active, at least not in this battle. Yeah, that's their leader. I knew they were around. They just hadn't appeared yet. I knew I'd need one from the lower floors to deal with them. As my team wasn't as prepared for them. Well, they certainly didn't have the selection. Yeah, same as before. Don't attack those focusing entirely on defense. As it seemed like wasted effort. It made more sense to take on the ones that actually cause damage. Yeah. Something to use when the defenses are down. That's good for any situation. But it's a matter of where is a good time to use it and when. Yeah. Even though I'm not using the Stigma workshop tech, it's still a good idea to keep the heat on them. And around this point, it was a good idea to see what the alertness of the spider bird could do. And what it did was something I liked. Maud was a little uneasy, but she got with it. Yeah, and as for the purely defensive of the rusted chains, no attention was needed with that guy. Then again, it didn't stop Oat from wanting to give it. With their leader defeated, you'd think it'd be much easier to deal with those that remained, but they weren't about to let Hode just take him down that easy. Yeah. They didn't care about social distancing, even though it had power. Well, their loss, I suppose. Speaking of which, they were about to lose. Yeah, not only would this be good practice, but what would follow this? But it also provide for more when it came to what to work with. And in the library, we needed every advantage we could get. Yeah, we could all use a meal at this point, but it's a little late, isn't it? I mean, by this point there was no way that the rusted chain link could win. I mean, if they could handle it on their own, they wouldn't join up with a syndicate. I knew that the books gathered would help out greatly with what was to come. Now you're probably asking, what have I got next to up? Or rather, one of those that has 4 librarians in their team. Well, that's gonna have to wait. Don't want you to get tired of, well, hearing it all at once.